Yeah, hi there. These comments are for HD, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass the Toefl IBT. So you said, I understand I should start this earlier, but I got to know about you yesterday. I booked my course. You say you're not even able to see video properly. You started with lesson 1 vocabulary video. All right, let's go to my course. All right, you want to go to the vocabulary section. Let's do this together, right? Okay, so I'm going to go to vocabulary lesson number 1. It's called 9 vocabulary guessing strategies. This is important for the reading section of the TOEFL, obviously. Okay, now you'll notice when you look at the videos, there's two things. You'll see a YouTube video above, then there's a YouTube video below. Let's click on the second video where it says Lesson 1, 9 Vocabulary Guessing Strategies. Now, if you want to make it bigger, I don't know if you know how to use YouTube videos, but if you go to the video, the bottom right part of the screen, right next to where you say YouTube, there is it's kind of a square. It says full screen. So if you click on that, it makes the video big. That's kind of what I did. So, you see, I'm listening to it right now. Now, the other thing you want to be aware of is you need to make sure that you have all of the required programs running on your computer so that you can view my lessons correctly. So let's go through these one at a time. And usually when you go to a web page on my website, if you need to update something on your computer, my web page will tell you. But first of all, you need to have the latest version of Adobe Acrobat. Second of all, Adobe Flash Player. And third of all, Java. You need to have the latest version there. And then finally, Apple QuickTime. So you want to make sure that you have the downloaded versions of all of those different software programs. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you look at the email I sent you when you joined my course, and even the email that I sent you, that you sent me, it says at the bottom, P.S., you need to make sure you have the latest version of the following software applications so that you can view the lessons in this TOEFL course. So that's something that you can take care of today, right? And hopefully, you should be able to view all of those things correctly. The other thing is, when you're going to my course, you want to make sure that you don't have your screen too big or too small. So that's something else you probably want to take a look at, is make sure that the screen is the adequate size to view the lessons in my video, right? Okay, now let's go to your situation. So my contact information here, typically I'm teaching on a regular basis. It's hard to just call me on the phone, so I'm going to just say send me an email if you continue to have some problems here. Now let's look at your other situation. Okay, so your requirement is at least 80. Right, you took the TOEFL 2 times, once in last year, the other in this month. So your scores are 88 and 87 respectively. You say, I'm a bit frustrated with this exam. I have to complete this exam by June as my dental school deadline is approaching. It says, I want you to guide me step by step. I'm out of my mind to do anything with this test. Okay. So I think also in the email you sent me, you said that you have 15 days, but to give yourself a deadline like that, in my opinion, is probably too much stress. I think that you need a little more time than 15 days to solve your language issues. You want to get over 100 on the TOEFL exam. That's not easy. Your score is already pretty high. It's 87, 88, but still to get maybe 13 points higher than where you are right now, I think 15 days is not enough, but maybe 90 days, if you work really hard for about 3 months, I'm hopeful that you should be able to reach your goal, but it's going to take a lot of effort on your part. Right? So here are my suggestions for you at this point. So first of all, I tell all my students this: just make sure that you're getting a lot of exposure to the English language right now. It's going to be important. That means that you're reading every day, maybe for about 45 minutes. You can pick the materials. You can read magazines and newspapers and things like that. You're also getting practice listening to English, and my recommendation is if you have English TV, you can focus on news, history, documentary, and especially science programs. That's going to be good, right? So as you're doing your reading and listening practice, so you're doing maybe around 30 to 40 minutes of reading and listening practice every day. That's just giving you a lot of good exposure to the language. So focus on your notes. Make sure you're taking notes on the reading and the listening passages. That's going to be very helpful for you. Then using your notes, you can practice writing and speaking about the information. Remember that your note-taking is the key. That's the secret to getting a really high score on the TOEFL, is you're actively involved in the reading, listening, speaking, and writing sections by taking down notes as you go through the reading and the listening passages. This is very, very important, and that helps you to organize, right? Your responses if you're doing the speaking and the writing, or you're answering the reading and the listening questions. If you have some notes, it makes it much easier, I think, to complete the exam. So using your notes as you're doing your practice, you should write about the reading and the listening passages. How much? My recommendation: in 7 days, try to write at least 3 academic summaries on the reading and the listening passages that you're practicing. Each summary should be about 250 words. If you can do that each week, 3 of those summaries each week, that's a good start. In addition to doing some writing practice, you should also be doing some speaking practice. My recommendation here may be 3 or 4 oral summaries each week. Like the written summary, you will be speaking about these reading and listening passages. I recommend that you record your voice so you can listen to it later on. I think that would be very, very important for you and also for your academic English language abilities. You see what I'm saying? So now what are you doing? You're doing some reading, listening, note-taking. You're also doing some speaking and writing practice. That's a great start. That'll probably give you about 1 to 2 hours every day, 7 days a week practice to help you improve your academic English language abilities. Now, let's talk about my online TOEFL course, right? So for you, you got to get really serious here. For you to get 100, it really does take a concerted effort. So for you, I recommend, first of all, go through the vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar lessons first. Because your TOEFL score is already high, you may be completing a lesson, you say, well, I already know this information. Then skip it. Skip the lesson. Then move on to a new lesson. But generally go through these 3 sections of my course. When you've completed these 3 sections, and maybe on a given day, you might do this. To keep from burning out, you'll do a vocabulary, pronunciation, and a grammar lesson. The next day, you'll do another vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar lesson, and on until you're done. Then you can move to the listening and the reading sections of my course. Focus in that area. Remember, as you're doing your reading and listening practice, you should really work on your note-taking. Really focus on getting down the main and the most important supporting points of the reading and the listening passages that you're practicing. Finally, once you've completed the reading and listening parts of my course, then you can move to the writing and speaking areas. But you can't do any of this in 15 days, right? You see what I'm saying? But at least you can get started. So my recommendation is to look at your TOEFL progress beyond 15 days. My goal is not just to help you get a high TOEFL score. My goal is to help you develop long-term academic English language abilities. So if you need English for your job, my course will help you for that. If you need English to perform reading and writing assignments at a college or whatever, my course will help you with that. You see what I'm saying? So those are my suggestions for UHD. And anyway, thank you for your email with your questions and concerns. I hope this video has given you some useful information.